We'll start the session in another 4 minutes. I will just do a quick introduction at the start. Just share my screen and do a quick introduction. After that, you can take over. Do you have a presentation you want to share?
No, I prefer to not do it because it's going to be very simple. I want them to not go technical. Since it's about their career, I wanted to give them some specific point and make them focus and think on what I'm saying instead of slides. So in this case, I decided to go very easy, and I will need your help because my point is I want them to interact a lot. I'm going to have questions for them. So they can do Q&A. So I'm going to read in the Q&A straight out. If you see something, you're going to be there with me, right?
I'm going to be there all the while. You can take, so the questions will appear in the Q&A tab and this thing. So you can probably take them up.
Okay, see them here. Okay, perfect.
You can see them directly. I will be there with you anyways, but like just in case, like I would not like to.
Yeah, if you see that I missed something, just you can jump in and.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So is my pronunciation correct when I say Giorgio Suighi?
Perfect. Amazing, my man. Well, in America, nobody can get my name correctly. I like it.
Is that Italian?
Yeah, I'm from Italy. I moved in America 6 years ago.
Okay. Where are you from in Italy?
The north, Milan.
Oh, Milan. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
I made a few friends when I was in Cardiff.
Yeah. You miss it? You want to go back?
Oh, I missed it. I miss it so much. I loved being in Cardiff. I used to go rock climbing there a lot. So, I was in South
Part of my
Wales.
family is from the mountain in Italy. You will love it. We climb in Mount Bianco. Oh, in South Wales. That's beautiful.
Yeah. A lot of my friends used to go to what are the mountains called there? They're called they're called something, right? I'm forgetting the name actually.
Les Alpes. The Alps? Les Alpi?
No, not the Alps. I think they
Monte
are
Bianco,
the Alps,
Monte Rosa. We have Monte Bianco, Monte Rosa, Stelvio. They are all the biggest ones out there. It depends where was it. Yeah, but they are beautiful places. I miss them.
The only place in Italy I've been to is Lugano.
This is not in Italy, Switzerland.
Yeah, but like when you take a round around the lake, half the time you are.
Yeah, I know. Yes, but don't say to an Italian we've been to Lugano. They're gonna say we don't like. We have a fight with Switzerland, so
actually
they don't want to be Italian, but they like it.
Yeah, actually, I went to a small town called Pietra de Ligure.
Pietra Ligure, beautiful.
Yeah,
man, you've been in the right places.
Yeah. So I was with a rich person from Switzerland who had just bought a sea-facing house there, and he wanted to look at the.
Poor guy.
So I had the time of my life.
I trust you. That place is magical. I love it.
I know.
You are lucky. That's a good one, man. Not many people can do that. Not even in Italy. That's for real elite people.
Yeah. Awesome.
I like this.
So we are recording. Yeah, awesome. I think we should start in a minute or two.
Perfect.
We are seeing more participants. We'll wait for just like a few seconds and we'll start.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many participants do you have on average?
Right now, they're just counting up, but on an average, we have had a few participants around. So like, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
We have had a good attendance today. We had beautiful, we had really good sessions, and everybody like.
I saw them. They were very interesting. I saw the agenda, and I was like, whoa. Some points were some session I wouldn't be participating, but I just woke up, as you know.
Yeah.
They're gonna record it, right? So I'm gonna be able to see the recording after.
Yeah. The recordings will be available on the platform in a week for a month.
Perfect.
Awesome. I think we can start.
You got it.
So welcome back, everyone. We are on to our second last session of the day. This will be conducted by Giorgio Suighi, Vice President, Analytics and Advertising at Esri. Giorgio is a senior executive with more than 14 years of progressive experience as an analytics professional. Based out of Los Angeles, he has led multiple teams, both domestic and global, to identify and solve complex problems and generate valuable insights with statistical modeling, data science, and machine learning. In today's session, Giorgio will help us understand how to be successful in the new era, in the new AI ML era. This session will focus on the best skills to have or work on to excel in the current market. It will also include a few tips that will help you focus on the impact of the business, staying far from seasonal buzzwords that are continuously connected to the data science world. The session will be very interactive. Giorgio intends to answer your questions as we go through the session. So please drop your questions into the Q&A tab or the chat box, and Giorgio can pick them up as he deems fit. So without any further ado, I will stop sharing my screen and we can start.
All right. Thank you, Kashyap. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good evening, actually. Sorry. So here is morning, 6 a.m., 6:45 sharp in LA. Here we are on this session. Today we're going to talk. I don't have a presentation. I was talking to Kashyap on purpose. I want you to focus on what we're going to say, and I want you to have questions for me. Okay, I'm going to drive you through what I'm seeing, what I'm living, even daily, even right now. What are the challenges for a leader also to select and find the right people to work on, especially modeling ML and eventually AI? What are the skills in order to build up a career that you need to have, you need to consider, and a couple of pieces on also that we're going to include also the technology side of the aspect. Okay. I use a new AI ML era on purpose to say, and I have a question for all of you. First question is, do you really think we are in a new era? Yes or no? Okay, yes, I see some yes already. Are you sure? Partially yes, okay, I see the partially. All right, I'm asking on purpose, and I use that keyword, is a new era, but it's not, guys. AI has been with all of us for the last 60 years, 60, okay? So, and it seems like even more right now, as of today, when we talk about AI and ML, it's still, for me, one of the most misunderstood fields in the world. It's new because we are approaching with a different type of technology we have available for us and the type of data we can combine to a more intelligent environment. So yes, you're right. All they say yes is correct. But who say partially yes or no is also right, because it's new, but it's not that new. What changed it? The technology we have, the possibility to digest more data, which takes to another problem we're going to face later. And the huge confusion. Many companies are embracing, you hear interchangeably, the concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning, okay? Yeah, exactly, shut up. We have big data and GPU, and also scatter CPUs and different smaller servers. That makes it easier to process the data. But the point is, if I need to ask you to explain to me in layman terms, what is AI and what is machine learning and the differences, will you be able to tell me? Question for you. Radio silence, I take it as a no. Remember one thing, machine learning is a subset of AI, okay? Most of the time, there is a lot of confusion. When you want to start your career, you need to think about the environment you want to work in, what you want to do on it. Majority of the things you see around you in a normal, in an easy application like Alexa, simple example that everybody knows, all these voice pattern systems, they're basic ML. Why? They do pattern recognition on specific sound, they give an answer, end of the game. Another case is, exactly, say correct. Perfectly, exactly, that's a correct answer. An AI example is Tesla self-driving cars, or can be, there is a very good e-commerce in Israel that they use NLP processing to give the better recommendation to the users. That's when you simulate your mind and you simulate human brain, you put some more intelligence, okay? Machine learning not necessarily is smart, honestly. Sometimes is analyzing the past to give you an idea of what happened and try to forecast something based on the time series, based on whatever algorithm you want. So remember that when you decide to build up your career, which side you want to be. You want to give more precedence to one side or another. Okay, that changes a lot when you need to have in your toolbox, because for machine learning, you can have a limitation. Limitation can be limited or more simplified your skills based on what you want to, the use cases you want to generate, or the overall ecosystem. You need to be very good in a specific set of analysis, in specific technologies. They need to evolve, and we're going to get in a few why they need to evolve. But your environment is more or less isolated, limited, if you allow me that word. If you go in artificial intelligence, that calls in a little bit more. We're talking about engineering. We're talking about a different set of programming skills. We're talking about another level of thinking, critical thinking on what you're doing. Okay, so first point is understanding the difference between the two and how these two are different can help you define your direction. So don't build up a career just based on a trend. Nobody wants that. And the leaders, when you get somebody like me in front of you, is going to be analyzing everything that you did and why you did it, asking you why you want to do something, what you want to do, which way you want to go. And that comes up on how you talk, how you think in terms of numbers. Many people that I see, I did a few interviews last week. And one of the main points is that people are still, different candidates were not ready yet to understand where they wanted to go. And I needed a pure ML modeler, somebody that's super strong in AutoML, that knows people, that knows how to use a specific side of technology, level of technology. He was going from one point to the other. So when you build up your career, step one is understand where you want to go. And also you want to be building up modeling all your life, or want to become a practitioner or a lead or whatever you want. There are people that want to do an entire life building and evolving models onto models. Other people want to build up on management level models, roles. That means you need to think about how build up your modeling skills, your technical skills, but also starting to add more business knowledge and acumen, which is going to be the key. Okay. Remember one thing again. Artificial intelligence, considered as the umbrella of everything, is a system that can sense, reason, adapt, simulate human brain. Under that, we have a subset, which is machine learning, which is algorithms, okay, which they, especially now in lately, when you do the good training, they're gonna have an increasing performance as they are exposed to more data over time, and we get to the concept of training. And then you have a deep learning. Deep learning is a subset on its own of machine learning. So remember that those things are not separated. They all part of the same ensemble. As deeper as you go, as more limited as you go. So first point is have clear in your mind what you want to do. Second point, in a use case that I was saying before, when we define between artificial intelligence and machine learning, you have machine learning, remember that focus mostly on accuracy. How good is that model to predict the reality? How near is the model to the reality? Okay. AI is not a system. Okay. It can be implemented within a system like to operate as a computer to work smart, but it's not a system. ML is a system. So remember that in machine learning, the ecosystem you want to go is you need to focus on the precision, on the data set, and on information you have in front of you. So the main point is, how can I make sure that I have the right data, I have the right models, or the best models to define my reality, what I want to analyze? Very simple. You need to start from a point that I'm repeating to my models every single day. Think about the hypothesis you're trying to challenge. Isn't a business-driven, isn't a hypothesis-driven business when the final goal is generate value for a company, okay? One mistake you might gonna do in your career, depending on where you are, guys, is very simple. Thinking about experimenting only and not going to the business aspect of the equation. Remember that when we have business challenges, we want this business challenge to be answered somehow. That means that I wanna have, I don't know, 10 different models being tested continuously. There is one solution only. If the hypothesis is correct in the beginning, then the answer will be, let's say, efficient enough, will be precise enough. So before doing anything, and that's why even the business acumen come back very strongly. Depending on what you want to do in your life, you always want to have this part of business acumen in your mind, how the business work, what are the processes, what I'm trying to solve to. Okay, I'm doing now an example, very simple example. I'm doing now an exercise with my team because I want to forecast and predict email subject lines, how they better perform or not, based on not just create or open rates, but also in form fields, because I want to see, since we send a lot of communication out of via email, what's the best way to optimize that and to get the best of it, right? Initially, I saw an hypothesis coming, not even an hypothesis, somebody on the team coming on with straight out of the gate with a k-means clustering. And my question was, why are you going that way? Why you don't go with example k-proto? And the question is, because I think that I just need to regroup the data now because it's just text, okay? I want to regroup in cluster and then decide what to do. No, this is not how you do it. You start from the beginning, you understand what you want to do. So I have a subject line. I need to understand what's the performance based on the text. So text is composed by words with a position, okay? So first point is getting back on the simplifying equation, understanding the data you have, getting with what are the features you want to understand, you have around you to evaluate the hypothesis, and then using what is already there, okay? There are different models. You don't need to go straight to one model or the other one, but in that case, if we're going on a classification, why not going k-proto, since I have just the entire data set is made by few metrics and majority of the features are all text and words. Example one. So remember, create the hypothesis before I understand how it impacts the business. We need to provide value for a company. Experimenting is fun, is stimulating. I'm the first one being a fan of that, and I encourage everybody, including my team, to do it. But we need to remember that efficiency should always be a factor that you need to consider. Okay, so when you build up your career, remember to think that all models were already pre-built many, many years ago before of us. There is no need to rebuild the wheel, to reinvent the wheel every single time, okay? Use what is around, evolve as you can. Yeah, exactly, totally. Accuracy. Yeah, Katushka, you're totally right. And the accuracy come after. They come into the game. When you see the data, you see what you have and you evaluate them. But remember that when you do modeling, you work in that environment, you are working on a company that's paying you money for using your brain to get an answer to these questions, okay? And to make decisions based on what you define, or to connect the results of your model to the business processes. I'm gonna give you a simple example. We did some propensity scores on propensity for people to buy some products. We injected them on a CRM, and now we are able to, the sales team is able to prioritize better the people, the potential customers, because they know they target first the one that have highest propensity, and they work on after on other metrics that we provide them, like what are the topics they're interested to, what there are the interaction ways to interact they prefer, and so on and so forth. So getting back to the first point is, remember, business acumen helps you cut off all the unnecessary noise, and help you, yes, to experiment, but on the right direction. Remember, it's an hypothesis-driven business when you need to start from a solid hypothesis. If you don't, you're just gonna lose in time wrangling your brain about 20 different models, randomly checking them, and you can have 7 models that all have a good R-square. No one of them is gonna give you the right answer for your business. So remember that, because you can have literally, I saw a couple of the tests when 6 models were giving me R-square of 75, 80%. Okay, then what? It doesn't give you the reality. It's not just about building models. It's not just about how accurate, how precise we are depicting reality. Is what is the impact for the company or the whatever you're working for, okay? Can be non-profit too. Going next step for this, and as a consequence of simplify your story and your life by thinking about before the question, is also simplify your work on terms of not rebuilding model from scratch. Everybody loves to coding. I was coding in my past. I start from system administration, so server configuration. So I love to script code anything. Still, we have some libraries, even some preset environments. So especially for machine learning, if you want to enter into the big companies, you need to be very aware of the pre-environments, preset environments that we have, like, you know, some of you know Azure ML, you have SageMaker, which is a counterpart in AWS. There are pieces of technology that allow you to focus on business needs and ensure you have the right data to feed into the model. And that's why, again, I'm gonna stress this concept for the entire session, guys. Being strategic about modeling is vital for your career. The model, now there are many people working on modeling because obviously it's a trending sector, is gonna go on forever. The winners, the one that I pick, honestly, when I hire somebody, is the one that have this strategic approach and the business acumen. The others are just modelers. So you want to be on the high top percentage. Otherwise, you're not going to be, you're going to be good for a few months or a year, and that will work. You're just going to be keeping building and building models from nothing. So remember that, that's very important. Going again on technology and on technology itself, when you gather the data, and that's also kind of like a part of the false myths we have with us connected to with machine learning in general. Oh, is data extensive? It's super huge. I need to create a lot of data. Yes, of course. But how much data do I need? I can be generating a billion of data points a second. I need just a few thousands. Okay. So remember again, when you create the hypothesis, you define what you want, you identify the data, the feature selection is key because it allows you to filter out from your data set everything that you don't need. Okay, then helps you to save costs when you do processing, especially on Azure or if you go with platform like that. So getting back on the same point, being strategic help you define A, the hypothesis, B, the feature. Okay, it's not necessarily, that doesn't need to be a huge model, super extensive model in terms of data in terms of super sensitive in terms of data consumption. The right model can be done with few thousands of or few hundred thousands of elements, as simple as it is. Okay, so remember that part too. Going still on that part, on the false myths. Remember one thing. When people, sometimes this is more like a note that I put with myself. Many times I got challenged because people say that our word, so AI and ML, they're gonna replace people, so they're gonna lose jobs. No, not necessarily. AI, in our world, in the latest few years, generated a net increase of 500,000 jobs all around the world. It's gonna do probably 2 million jobs by 2025. So we're building up new type of positions opportunities. It requires us to humans to develop, deploy, manage, and maintain whatever you do. So that's just a little trick. When somebody says, oh, you guys are working on something that is going to take off people and resources, say, no, it's not true. It's building new type of jobs. So you better adapt or find another job if your position was cut off. Getting back on the skills. So we said you need to be strategic. You need to think about a hypothesis. In terms of technology, we all know that technology is changing continuously, right? So remember that you need to keep yourself at the pace. Like right now, example, you wanna be on AutoML. Teapot probably is your best, one of your best bets. There are preset libraries everywhere, so pick the ones that work better for you. Try to keep continuously an eye on what's new on the market, what can be more interesting, new projects, new model frameworks, and use them. And that's another more important key. Again, when you hear anybody, especially leaders in my position, even higher, talking about algorithm, your position gonna be very important to make them understand that even 1 + 1 is an algorithm. Algorithm is everything, including a simple base mathematical formula. So your part in your word will be to make sure that they understand and simplify that part. So remember one thing, another component that is very important in your life is storytelling. Most of the time we focus on building the model, defining the model, showing amazing graphs that for us are understandable. But you go to the CEO, to the CMO of your company, and they're gonna look at you like, huh? So what now? Okay, you wanna make sure that your, let's say, your work is totally understood, is totally embraced. Without embrace, you don't wanna have the company thinking that you're a wizard doing magical things they don't understand. Few things they're not going to understand, and you're not going to go deep into how a K-means works, how an RMA works, like a regression testing works. No, but showing what you analyze and how, that's going to be a key point for you, your organization, your group of analysts, to gain strength and to get near to the decision-making part, which is where you should be. And let me see. I'm seeing Kadosh saying AI speed is so advanced, I'm able to recreate how you my hands on, but still working over it. Agree to disagree, Katush, but that's a question for everybody. Do you think Tesla cars driving is so far away from replicating human hands? I don't think so. That's a good example when you have a specific set of AI that actually is working. No? What do you guys think? I'm going to open a question on this. That's a good point, though. Okay. Specific to robots, yes. There are some neural replications that are starting to work and predict them and get very near to the emotional set. But yeah, it's still far. But again, you want to replicate a situation when it helps you, and you want to generate a neural selection in a specific way. So on the robots, they get to the part, and honestly, that's not my field. So I have a limited knowledge, unfortunately, Katush, on that. But what I saw in some tests and some analysis they did, you can replicate synapses movement and the system. Not necessarily you can have a continuous apply, because the system adjusts and goes into a failure mode. So it will take time, you're right. But I see some good, interesting tests at the moment. And let's say, do you see the deep learning, suppressing machine learning business in industries? Depend on the business and the industry, honestly. I'm a B2B, B2G means also business to government. No. Using deep learning most of the time is used in a wrong way, or they get confused with machine learning. So you're right on, many times the people think about one part and they go to, and is talking about the other one, especially with using multi-layer neural networks. Not necessarily, because right now you have, let me think. I'm thinking about use cases. No, honestly, no, because you can have, it's one of the most, ML basically, basic AM is one of the most active. In deep learning, you're teaching the system something, right? In ML, you just analyze and probably going to be able to forecast. That's where example attribution modeling is going, okay? And that's what majority of the company are pushing. So right now, for my standpoint, again, I can be right or wrong. From what I see here, in B2B and also in some B2C context, machine learning is still, and remember, machine learning is the umbrella of deep learning. So they're part of the same part. But right now is not, And yes, in future, this might happen. Absolutely. I see this coming, especially because the technique, they're going to be more refined. We're going to get to a point where we're going to be more, the question, the people, honestly, the people will need to understand that deep learning has no theoretical limit on what it can learn. Okay. So getting that part, understanding that benefit, is going to take more and more company on board. For me, the market is not necessarily ready yet, or doesn't understand totally the full potential. So that's why for me right now, we're not there yet, but I totally see this happening in the next 5 years, probably 5 to 10 years, but not before. Right now it's still, machine learning is still using in incorrect way for both scenarios, and that's the main one. I have a question too. Salil, how do you evaluate AI use cases for production? Consider there are a lot of POC, but very few in production. How do you evaluate those cases? That's a very good question. It depends again, when you have a POC, again, it depends as usual on 2 points. How it's connected to my business, and what are the risks, impediments, and what are the forecasted result and the precision that we're going to take. It depends on what are the POCs, honestly. It depends what you define as POC. In my case, it's very hard to find them. In my type of business, in our type of business, that's a different story. But even in the other sectors, you have many POCs, yeah, but generic. What is connected to a specific type of business? For me, the one that is more tied to what I need to do is the one that we use. As simple as it goes. There is no other, there's no holy grail for that. Can you go, Salil, if you can go give me more detail, I can give you a more precise answer. Because AI use cases, we can go on and on and on defining which are they, but when do you define, example, an artificial intelligence use case for business-to-business company that works in environmental systems? Can be in different sectors and scenarios, including mapping disease and other informations, right? But what's going to be the right POC? What are the existing POCs that you see for a company like us? Because I don't see many, actually. So it depends again on the sector you are and the type of question you're trying to answer, as usual, what you're trying to achieve for that. And if you have in mind a product, how AI will be, this AI piece of tech will be improving your product or not, and how it's going to be perceived by users. So when you think about, in that case, a go-to-market strategy comes into the game, you need to have very clear in your mind the risks you're taking with your users and the enthusiasm you're going to generate. There are 2 pieces on the equation, guys. AI can be used for internal uses for improve a business, or external uses, again, going Tesla model for the final users to leverage it. Which one of the 2, if we're talking about, Salil, that's if you can help me elaborate on that, I'm gonna give you another answer. In banking sector, I see now in the other one. Okay, so I see 2 questions here. Let's go one after the other. One, okay, I'm gonna finish Salil, and then I'm gonna go back to the previous one on the R day from Kumar. In banking sector, higher regulation, convenience and regulation is yeah. No, I didn't face the banking part, but it depends on, again, it depends on the data you have around you. We have a lot of regulations here too, but we can go there if you, especially on privacy on data, if you simplify the data set, you hash them, you can do actually whatever you want. It depends what you're trying to achieve and how. So using hashing data continuously, that can help in that part. I didn't, honestly, I never experienced banking sector, and honestly, I stay far away from a specific reason. Now they need to evolve. Most of the time they use old tech and they try to do new thing with a very old tech. That's something that I personally don't like. New banks now, I was talking to some colleagues in US, are having a very innovative approach right now. So I love the fact they're embracing the technology in the right way, but it takes them ages to change. So unless you're talking about trading companies, they need to be in the edge of the technology. And even there, I have some question marks. I never face much of on the banking sector, on the regulations, unfortunately. So sorry. Kumar, yeah, happy hard day to everybody. Actually, we are doing something like this. We are an environmental company, which is the main goal is to support users and have a better approach, a sustainable approach to art. You can use a machine learning AI in so many ways in there. We're doing calculated models to forecast when it's going to be the most likely, more likely to spread a fire or some emergency, so we can forecast and make sure that we have a better control and less stress on the communities. So we prevent driving or having fire brigade spraying water and lowering down the temperature of the plants, example. You can calculate a model and work on how the different shipments, you know, the vessel shipping all around the world move around, and what type of boat AI they have to lower down the carbon consumption, sorry, the fuel consumption, and lower down the pollution overboard. There are, honestly, and I see them real life, we have tons and tons of models, and we do it in this case. That's why I'm proud of the company we work for, of Esri. We do majority of them for free. We build in so much models that are already available for the company, for the community to leverage also, because the main goal is to drive a change in humanity. It's not just making money, it's also making a better world. So there is in our case, we do it. We are an environmental company, so that's why it's easier for us. But every company can do. Sorry, I was reading another question. There are many other cases that you can do the same. How can I be? You can create system AI systems to, I don't know, to work on the safety of the people. Or if you think about environmental straight on forecasting, there are some with the forestal community right now coming up on which species are more endangered, which one is gonna be the pattern they're gonna go, so you know where they're gonna be located. You can protect the area in a better way. It can go in infinite pathways, Kumar. But yes, it's already happening. If you have any other specific ideas, just post it here. I'm gonna reply to you, like specific detail on which type of environmental ones you have in mind. I can give you some example. I have another question for Kastub. Will be cut jobs in the future and deep learning will take it over? That's similar to what we said before. No, jobs cut, no, for two reasons. One, machine learning is gonna be used until forever, and it's gonna increase the type of use and the type of models. The mix of modeling is gonna be evolving. Nobody's gonna lose it. Actually, they're gonna be increasing job in both sides. In deep learning, actually, the same people that are working in machine learning are gonna be the same people working in deep learning. If you wanna evolve to that level, you just need to add an extra layer of knowledge in you, because you use structured and structured data for training, okay? And again, you're gonna have, you all know, guys, the virtual assistants, the different use cases we have today. Vision, face recognition tools like, hello? This is gonna go on and on and on, but still companies need basic ML too. So when you do basic forecasting, basic system information, of basic forecasting and analysis on specific business goals, you don't need to go deep learning. You can go with basic ML. So this job is not going to go down at all. It's going to probably increase. If you want to stay on a fun part of the situation, you might want to switch to deep learning in the future. Again, depends what you want to do. Remember, think about yourself in 5 to 10 years right now and answer yourself what you want to be. That's exactly what's going to make the entire difference. Okay. And again, as I said before, remember the jobs were going to be increasing. The forecast for 2025, I told you, is impressive. That's 2+ million. So both of them is going to be, both environments are going to build up jobs. Obviously, other function will change, but it's not for us. And we're talking about all of us are professionals in these sectors, and we know we're not going to lose that job. The job is going to just increment. So rise up if you want to grow. Think about growing as a leader into that, and go on with that. I see. Okay. Can AI? There it is. There's another question. Can AI solve microplastic pollution? It depends on the data that they have. Yes. It literally depends. More than AI can be machine learning, actually. And I'm going to tell you why. You need to leverage 3D imaging learning. You need to do, I'm thinking out loud, guys, because that's a very good question. The problem is you have the microplastic identification problem is the complexity of the patterns and the texture, right? So the moment you need to do something like a combination of, you probably need to go to holographic because you need to go with a combination of 3D imaging and machine learning. You can get the image and get the screening what you have in a micro, and you need to identify microplastic material for any other plastic material. Or other components, and then you need to apply the model. So you're gonna have the initial part. There's gonna be photographic modeling, recording, honestly. Then you're gonna do holograms generated on that. Then you're gonna have, and then you need to work on recognition on these numbers and with this information. But you need to go very deep. So it's gonna be microns, and then I'm thinking about like a plankton level, and then you need to do object detection. So that's why it's a machine learning more than AI for me. Again, that's my point. Just thinking out loud with you on the situation. Not sure if it's that the right point, but that's what I will go. The first thing is I need to understand what's in the what is in the water in the air, what is especially in the water, where is the micro part? You need to get it. You need to do image recognition. That's why I would go ML straight. I hope I answer you. Every company do ML and AI nowadays. Yeah, remember, because more ML than NI. For doing a heavy NI, you need to have a different set of engineer and have a lot of money. ML is cheaper and answers to majority of the questions already. So they try to tend to not overcomplicate. Kashyap, I think we are almost out of time. Last minute for you.
Yes. So I don't think there are any more questions, but if there are, I'm sure that you can catch up with them in the lounge section.
Yep.
I hope you had fun. I had fun listening to your sessions, and I think everybody was also very interactive and very I think they had fun
Engaged.
as well. Yeah, very engaged.
Yeah.
It was a very nice session. I'm very sure everybody had a good time learning.
Yeah, thank you, Keshav and Skillup for the opportunity, guys. Thank you all. Nice to meet you. You see my profile, my information. Just ping me, even for discussing whatever you need. Any questions? Don't be afraid. As I say, even a low session, just ping me, and I'm gonna be more than happy to help you out. Okay, and let's keep in touch.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a good one.
And you.
Ciao.